Well, Sabbath greetings to everyone. I truly hope you had a great week. We had a wonderful week here in Sussex, and I know I say that so often, but we are very blessed, and we do have a lot of good weeks here in Sussex, and I truly hope you had a wonderful, wonderful week. It was a pretty busy week this week. I was out, had some wonderful opportunities this week, had a couple of baptisms. Congratulations to you all out there. We had 2 baptisms in the Chicago area, and so that's always a wonderful, wonderful blessing, and one of the most amazing parts of my job, to be honest. I love doing that. But I hope your week has been productive and profitable. Along with that excitement, we've just also had a lot of just busy things that needed to be done around the house, and trying to get some other goals, some things marked off the list, and so it made for a pretty hectic week, running around and trying to get things accomplished. So ready, very, very ready for the Sabbath. It is the Sabbath here when I'm recording this, a little bit later than I like to get the video done, but this is the first opportunity I had. I was just thinking this week, I've been doing some research and trying to think about some topics and pray about some topics for an upcoming webcast that I need to put together, and had my mind on quite a few different things. But one thing I was thinking of is there's been quite an increase in, if you just follow the news, and there's been quite a number of articles here lately that I've been running into talking about the rise in atheism, and how that is something that is happening. We still are a very religious society in that way, especially here in the United States. Not so much around the world, but in the United States we've been a very religious nation. But even today, it's only probably about 3% that actually fall into the atheist category. But there's quite a number of others that would fall into the unaffiliated category, or the folks, the agnostics, those that don't really know what to believe. When you factor those in, we're talking more about like 20%. So the rise in atheism is not something that we couldn't anticipate, that we couldn't expect to be happening as we get closer to the end of the age. It is something that we would expect to happen. In Romans, I know in Romans, it says here in verse 19, "For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they're without excuse." I was thinking about that today, and I looked out and saw the snow, and it's pretty deep out there right now. And you just think about the snow, and that you think about the seasons, you think about the way God has created this earth and created it in the way that he has, so that we have the 4 seasons. And just the fact that you can look out and see the snow, and you think, wow, what a mind that could create an atmosphere, because you can't find it. It's not out there in the visible universe. It's right here on planet Earth, the planet that God created specifically for human beings to dwell on. It's just not anywhere else. It's ridiculous to think that this just happened. It's just utterly ridiculous, and that's what God is saying here. They're without excuse, because you can look at the seasons. You can see how God is preserving the earth through the seasons, and the things that happen here on the earth to sustain life that you can't find anywhere else in the universe. And I was thinking too that when you look at 2 Timothy chapter 3, and he starts here by saying, "But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come." And that is what we're going to be navigating here in these last days, perilous times. Why is that? "For men will be lovers of themselves and lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. You know, when you look at all those different attributes, those things that are taking place here and going to continue to take place as we navigate these end times, you think about all those things, and it doesn't say that they're all atheists. You know, there's certainly believers in that category. It says in verse 5, having a form of godliness but denying its power, and from such people turn away. And so in the midst of still a very religious society, there's false Christianity creates this. False Christianity creates an environment that is ripe for these kind of attitudes and these kinds of problems. And so we are going to be navigating some difficult times, but I hope this Sabbath we can all put the focus on, the proof of God. I asked my kids, think of one thing this past week that made you, that proved to you the existence of God. Just one thing. Think about it and make it unique. Not just the fact that the sun came up in the morning or, whatever the case may be, but think about something, like that thought that I had about the snow or about the seasons and things like that. And my kids were able to mention some things, and I thought there were some great things that they brought to mind. The kids lost a guinea pig this past week. Got up in the morning, and the guinea pig just wasn't doing very well. And so they nursed it and comforted the guinea pig, and could tell that the guinea pig was not doing very well. And so they all prayed, and they prayed that the guinea pig wouldn't suffer, but that God would either, heal that guinea pig and bring it back so that it would live a good quality life, or just allow that guinea pig to go to sleep and to die. And as soon as the prayer was over, they went and checked the guinea pig, and the guinea pig had died. Probably died while they were praying. And so they were very, in one sense, they were able to spend some special time with the guinea pig, but also to understand that, God was merciful in that way. For whatever reason, we don't know what happened to the guinea pig, but the point is that, they didn't want the guinea pig to suffer. And so they understood that, it's an animal, and that was the really merciful thing to do. And so there's things that happen throughout our lives that we can really think about as being just another proof that the great God is real, that He is intervening, and He's going to intervene. And so we need to be doing that as this world tends to careen downhill and to become more secular all the time, without God and without faith and without hope in that sense. And so we need to be very, very cognizant and aware of God at all times, and look at all those ways that we can prove that the great God is real, that He's here, that He's powerful, that He hears our prayers, and that He has a future and a hope for us and for the whole world. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Sabbath. Keep those things in mind as you navigate this Sabbath. We look forward to being in Dubuque this Sabbath. We had to switch our schedule around. We were supposed to be there last Sabbath, but we're going to be in Dubuque this Sabbath. We look forward to seeing the brethren there, and we look forward to seeing the rest of you in the weeks ahead. I love you all. Have a tremendous, profitable, wonderful, and enjoyable Sabbath. I love you all. Take care, and talk to you again soon.